Hey everybody, wanted to talk to you a little bit today about protein. And right now, protein is really having her moment everywhere in the media, everywhere, including in the new government guidelines for nutrition. So protein helps us build and rebuild muscle. It helps us stay fuller longer. And it is one of the three macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbohydrates, that we need all three of in order to thrive, especially as busy women, especially as busy women over 40, especially as busy women over 40 that are trying to build muscle. We want that protein. However, this comes with a caveat. With all of this noise, and I'm going to call it noise, and that may be controversial, but I'm going to call it noise. With all of this noise about protein, even with it being an important part of our diets, and even knowing that many women are actually under eating optimal amounts of protein, this push with like protein coffees and protein shots, whatever the hell, what's her face was peddling the other day. Oh, what's her name? Mel, whatever. Everything we eat has to have protein in it. Like, we don't necessarily need protein brownies. We don't necessarily need protein oatmeal. We don't necessarily need to put cottage cheese in everything that we're eating. Ask Coach Tina about her attempts at putting cottage cheese in her eggs. We don't necessarily need to do that. And the first way to know if we are getting enough protein is to actually just do a very casual, non-obsessive track, all right? We can't tell if something is working for us unless we have some data around it. So the first thing would be to take some data on how much protein you're currently getting, and then are you meeting your fitness goals? Are you meeting your fitness goals with that amount of protein? And if the answer is no, then we might want to look at how can we gradually increase this. If you're currently eating 70 to 80 grams of protein a day, to suddenly say, I'm going to double that and eat 140 grams a day is going to be super overwhelming and really hard to stick with. So gradually increasing from where you're starting is going to be very key. But we don't know how to gradually increase unless we know where we're starting at, right? So that is my caveat on protein. And in general, eating about 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. So between 1 and like 1.6, more towards that 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 range, depending on you. It's gonna be very individualized. And again, starting and knowing where you're starting at, and if it's working for you, if it's working, if you're increasing your weights every week, if you are getting stronger, if your stamina is better, if you have body recomposition or weight loss goals, if that's happening, then maybe we don't need to worry about adding like a protein coffee into our day, okay? So just keeping it real here, just keeping it real. So to find your kilograms of body weight for us here in the States who use pounds, take your body weight in pounds, divide it by 2.2. That's your body weight in kilograms. Then that's gonna give you probably like the lowest mark that you want to be hitting on average. Multiply that body weight by 1.2, 1.3. I like to live by having a range. So that way, some days when I hit a lower range, it's okay. And I mean, it's always going to be okay if you hit the lower end of your range. But you hit the lower end of your range because then some days you're going to hit the higher end of your range. And then it evens out to somewhere in the middle. So for example, I eat between 120 and 150 grams of protein a day. I've been doing this for a long time. I eat meat, I eat dairy, I love meat, I love dairy, I also love beans, okay? So for me to get protein in my diet, it's not super difficult. But if you are somebody who doesn't love meat, if you're somebody who can't or doesn't like dairy, if you're vegetarian or vegan, this is when you might want to be a little bit more conscientious about protein. So anyways, this is like just a general FYI little public service announcement here about protein. I would love to hear your questions about protein in the comments so that I can help to guide you and really get those questions answered, as opposed to just like spilling out a ton of random facts. All right. What are some questions that you have about protein? And I will give you the answers. All right, team. Hope you have a great day, and looking forward to your questions and getting them answered.